Hello and welcome to the Greater Concord Chamber of Commerce first Facebook Live event. My name is Laura Scott. I am with NHTI-Concord's Community College.
My name is Chuck Neild. I'm with the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program that operates out of Manchester Community College and the community college system of New Hampshire.
And we are glad that you guys are going to be joining us today to learn more about the 10,000 Small Business Program. And before we get into that, I do want to thank the Greater Concord Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event today and being our partner. When we originally set this up, we were anticipating having an informational lunch, but with everything going on, we figured we would do this Facebook Live. So hopefully you guys at home, watching at home or in your office, are having lunch and are going to learn more about the 10,000 Small Business Program. So with that, Chuck, can you tell me about the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program?
Sure, happy to. The 10,000 Small Businesses Program is a philanthropic program. It's a no-cost mini-MBA program. It runs about 13 weeks. There is live learning face-to-face as well as online learning as well. The program started back in 2009. Back in 2008, considerable economic downturn. Goldman Sachs borrowed some money from the federal government. They paid every dime of it back, and this was their way of getting out and creating revenue and job creation for small businesses in the United States. The program does operate in 50 states, including the District of Columbia, as well as Puerto Rico. And there is a national cohort program that runs out of Babson College in Wellesley, Mass, where businesses come from different states into a collaborative program. The program itself, again, is a no-cost program. It includes your hotels, if you choose to stay in the hotel, and your meals. They're well catered. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, sometimes 10,000 calories, as well as 10,000 small businesses. But it's open to any small businesses in New Hampshire. We take exclusively New Hampshire. We may broaden it, but right now it's exclusively for New Hampshire small businesses.
Okay, so you said the program has been operating nationally since 2009?
It grew out. It started with for 10,000 women to get to women in small business entrepreneurial opportunities and grow them out, and then it grew into the inner city and diversity state to where it evolved into the 10,000 Small Businesses Program in the spirit of diversity and growth.
Okay, and how long has it been operating here in New Hampshire?
It's been operating for about a year. We've had two cohorts.
Okay. So two groups of
two different classes.
Okay.
One last spring and midsummer, and a total of 63 New Hampshire small businesses went through. 100% graduation rate.
Excellent. That's always important. As someone who works at a school, we like to hear those numbers.
That's right.
Okay, and so you mentioned that this is operating across the country. So there's a national program, so people can apply to that, as well as to or in addition to, as well as the New Hampshire program.
That's right. So the national program is a larger delivery. It's operating in the same way, but it may not be as exclusive as working with your fellow small businesses in New Hampshire. It's a little tighter, smaller growth groups. We could talk about growth groups in a little bit. But the classes are smaller, and the faculty is much more hands-on, one-on-one. There's a business advisor process that is incorporated with it. The business advisor that works with the program to help the scholars through their process and the growth within the process itself.
Okay. And so since this is a Facebook Live event, we're not only catering to people here, businesses here in New Hampshire, what other states is it operating in? So there's the national program, which may have a broader scope, and it's in here in New Hampshire for New Hampshire businesses. Mm-hmm. How many other states have a program just like New Hampshire?
Actively, to name a few, there's Ohio, Miami, New York City, New Jersey, all operating at the community college level.
Okay.
And these places are active and going on right now. Obviously, we're in some challenging times, and the program has been moved to a complete online program. The way that the program sets up today, probably one of your questions is how is it delivered? But the program itself has 13 live face-to-face days, as we call it. It'd be 2 days of orientation, day and a half. You go away for a few weeks, and you do online class, and then you come back in for 4 days, and you go away for another 3 to 4 weeks, and you come back, and it's a 4-day finish, culminating with the final delivery of the growth business plans that are developed throughout the entire course. So it's a 13-week program. And again, these operate in all 50 states. They say it operates in 50 states because some states don't have actual programs delivering yet, but they are allowed to participate in the national program.
Okay, all right.
So again, it includes Washington, D.C. as well as Puerto Rico.
All right, so no matter where you are, Facebook Live viewers, you can participate in this program. So something you mentioned about Goldman Sachs and how they started this, they focused on women entrepreneurs, which is wonderful, and they focused on inner city businesses. Why did they want to focus on small businesses, and how are small businesses defined in this program? Because I may think of a small business as a mom and pop, bakery, and yet somewhere else that's, a small business is a business with 50 employees. So how is it defined under this program, and why did Goldman Sachs really want to focus on that?
That's a really good question. So I have my data right. So there are 28 million small businesses in the United States. And incredibly, that makes up 99.7 of the firms in the Americas. That's a high number, right?
It's a high number.
It employs 60 million people in small businesses, and that's about half the workforce in the United States. So it's a considerable, it's a backbone really of society. I know for me, I had always worked for large companies, and it really opened my eyes as to what was really truly important. Is these are the risk takers, these are the people that have come into business, starting business on their own, the brave ones, if you will, and a lot of really great and interesting stories as to how they got to where they got to today to be able to be successful to qualify for the program. Probably the biggest challenge that we face is time, and the focus that on small business as part of Goldman Sachs is $500 million a year contribution to the programs around the country is really looking at the broader perspective of delivery in all these locations. But probably the biggest challenge is people finding the time to participate in the program. A lot of people say,
if you're a small business owner, a lot of times you're everything. So being able to do that.
And the SBA defines small businesses up to, depending on the industry type, 250 employees maximum, or even in some other industries, up to 1,500 employees. Wow. It sounds like a lot, but most of the people that we deal with, especially with New Hampshire here, it could be 2 employees, it could be 5, 10, 25. We've had a couple, a few hundred employees. But interestingly, if you're the owner and you have someone who helps you occasionally, that counts as 2, and that's one of the qualifications, is having 2 employees is a minimum for qualifying for the program.
So if it's a home-based business or it's a family business, as long as your dog and your daughter help work out, you can do it.
They answer the phone, yeah, that would definitely count.
Okay.
So that's their focus is looking at how it's defined. It's not 250 employees, as they say, or 1,500. These are small businesses that are looking to define themselves, and instead of always asking, what do I do now, where do I start, we're going to help you with a growth plan, a 5-year growth plan to put you on track so you don't have to keep asking yourself that question about how do I improve it, how do I make it better. That's all part of it.
Okay. Well, that sounds great for those people that always think they're too small for help. They really aren't. So now explain your role with Goldman Sachs And why is the community college system of New Hampshire part of this program? I think it's wonderful that we are as an employee of the community college system, but for our viewers at home, explain what you do and explain what the college does as part of this.
Right. So my official title is Business Services and Support Manager. My role is to get out and recruit and meet businesses to bring them into the program. But as things go, this acts like a small business too. I have to help deliver the program as well. I have sat through the classes a couple of times. I want to participate as much as I help facilitate. We do work with Babson College is a leading entrepreneurial education college in the country. And we use some of their instructors. It's all based on Babson content. They're the ones that are constantly updating the program to keep it current. As well as we use the community college system faculty within the program as well. It's a great opportunity for the faculty to stretch their legs and meet with small business owners. I know that they have said to me they've taken information that they've got from the program back to their classes, and they've even invited a couple into the class to speak, which is kind of a nice transition in the program. But my role is multifunctional. We do have our workforce development director, Chris Dudley, is as part of Manchester Community College. She helps with the facilitation with the Working Partner Grant. And we've hired a program coordinator just recently, which is a big help to me. Sean Connolly, who is, again, a program coordinator who is going to be working with the finer points of the delivery of the program, making sure all the materials are available, all the activities that happen within the classwork itself, and just making sure that the scholars who attend the program have everything that they need to be successful.
Okay. So even though it's a national program by a major company, and it's run from Babson, which is a nationally known college, it really is a local program. It's here in New Hampshire, and the people a majority of the teachers are local teachers, so they understand the local economy and what some of these businesses may be facing.
Absolutely, and it does make a difference. New Hampshire has unique and special qualities that people that I meet, businesses that I go and visit, people that contact me and I go out and visit, available for one-on-ones. These are certainly different times, but if you'd like to speak on the phone, we can certainly run through the program in just a matter of minutes and help you understand what you need to do to prepare. But we do use faculty from Great Bay Community College, from River Valley Community College, of course, Nashville Community College, and Manchester Community College. And we've asked around to try to mix it up a little bit to get people trained to participate, to build a bench, to have a strong bench, because things can and do happen. And we want to be prepared for any eventuality. And also we have visitors from Babson who come, and many of them have written the material, and they will deliver program with a partner faculty within the college system, the New Hampshire Community College system. And it's a great partnership. Everybody benefits from the collaboration, and it is interesting to me. I came from high tech and big companies, really large companies, over 30 years. And when I first came in, I was a little skeptical, saying, I'm not sure how it's going to work. And I was amazed at how people came together and how people collaborated and were so helpful to one another. Some of the scholars were doing business with each other within the first couple of days. People have come up to me, after the first day and saying, this is exactly what I needed. I needed to step away from my business. And I like to tell people, this is time not spent away from your business. This is time spent working on your business.
Well, it's time spent building their business. It's
exactly.
Always, and I've had the opportunity and the good fortune of sitting in on some of the interviews to choose the businesses to participate. And it is amazing. They always talk about how they always wanted to do this. They always wanted to have the growth plan, but you're so busy with the day-to-day operations of your business that you just never have time to do it. And being part of this program creates that opportunity.
It does. And it also allows the business owners to delegate to some of their staff, and it helps them, puts them on a different level, because they realize that, hey, I can be more strategic now while they're delivering. I can take us to that next step, and that's what this program is all about, to create revenue and grow jobs.
Right. That's exactly what we need here in New Hampshire.
Exactly.
So now tell me again, I know you rattled off some numbers earlier, but I don't remember them now. Tell me how many businesses have graduated from the New Hampshire program?
Sure. We've had 63 small businesses go through the program. We had 2 cohorts, one last spring and one midsummer that went to the first week of August.
Okay.
Again, we had a 100% success rate. People have gone through. And interestingly, now that they're alumni and they're part of the program, and I reach out to them because there's a continuation of the process, surveys that we do, because Goldman wants to measure success. And we do too. We want to understand what they need to be successful.
Yeah, to see if the class work actually translated into the real world.
Yeah, and these are practical business tools. As I said it in the early onset, it's a mini-MBA program. Now, you could take MBA classes, and they might go 10 weeks, take the next one and keep rolling. It may take you several years to get through the process. This is a 13-week program. There's a lot coming at you, but it's practical, pragmatic business skills that you can implement straight away. And I know even from the first module, money and metrics, I know one of the businesses came to me and said, I've incorporated the metrics, and they had saved, I believe they had said they had saved over $20,000 in operating costs, which is
totally worth the 13-week class.
Yeah,
for that one thing.
Exactly true. And it's really great. You do get breaks, so you can reach out and contact your business if you need it. If you need to step out, of course, we want to try to keep everybody together, because there's a lot of information coming at you in terms of the live face-to-face classes, as well as the online classes, which operate in the evening.
So for the 63 businesses that are in New Hampshire, how many are there nationally that have gone through the program since this started?
I don't have an accurate number, because it changes every month, because cohorts graduate. But they're at about 9,500 businesses nationally, and one of the huge benefits.
So 9,500.
9,500
That's
businesses
great.
nationally.
Okay.
They do have Goldman Sachs has an app that they use that the scholars log into, and an incredible amount of information. I find myself looking at it and learning some things, because it's interesting to be seeing webinars similar to this. People do talks. They do tech talks. They do here's some information about real estate if you wanted to grow your footprint in terms of growing your business.
So the learning doesn't end after the 13 weeks. It can continue if the alumni of the program wanted to. So it continues to be free and resources for them. So that's
the app would have the New Hampshire businesses, so you can contact and work together, and there's a trust factor that's happening there. But if you say you had a relative and you wanted to take your business idea to Florida, for example, there are alumni, once they graduate, into the program, and they can reach out to people in Florida and say, hey, I'd like to look at possible brick and mortar locations for my business. Does anybody know anyone? And they'll be really surprised about the feedback that they get. And they can ask any question. People are more than happy to give advice, relate what their experiences are. So you don't have to find out the hard way, right? And then life lessons are often served cold.
Yes.
And but this gives you a chance to talk to someone in a region that you might be considering moving, or if you wanted to take your product out of New England and go into a national distribution. Has anybody done this? How did it work for you? And you can have sidebar chats and everything that goes along with it. But the app is a really terrific way for people to stay connected. It is unique within New Hampshire. You do get separated into growth groups. You're part of a class, but there's growth groups of 5, 6, 7, depending on how many are attending the class at a certain time. And the growth group process, people make connections really quick. And I know in the first cohort, they were doing business, exchanging numbers, and say, I need that. That's a product I need. And things were happening. The same thing happened in the second cohort as well. So it's an interesting way there's a trust built because they're hearing you explain yourself, and they say, this is someone I could do business with. And that networking piece is not just in the New Hampshire side, and that's going to keep growing, but it's also at the national level too. And you can just learn so much from just what people are experiencing out there. It really does make a difference.
Well, it's kind of like why the chamber is so important with that networking and creating relationships. And here you have 13 weeks of a group of businesses learning everything about each other and how they can help each other and how they're trying to help themselves. And again, it continues even when you're not in those 13 weeks.
Exactly right. And it's interesting that even though these are diverse businesses, we've had everything from cleaning services to architects to biotech to high tech, engineering and brick and mortar stores, retail stores, hospitality, a lot of food businesses. But what's interesting is even though they're in these growth groups and they're diverse, you think that the tech people might be just try to sit together, or they don't want to. They try to make it so that it is diverse within the groups, but they all have a common problem, and they share their advice and what they've experienced, and a common set of problems. If you have a good problem statement, the problem's half solved. Yes.
Right. You think because you figured out what your problem is.
Exactly, but you can also try out other ideas with your peers, with your fellow scholars within the class. To say, I didn't want to really relate this to my staff yet because I'm still kind of working it out. But they say, well, when we did that, this is what happened.
Right.
And, I'll talk to you about
it's
that.
It's kind of a support, not only a networking and business exchange group, it's kind of a support group for these business people.
It absolutely is. These are the people that are driving the businesses and want to share what they know, but they also want to pull from people too. So it's a good relationship, and it builds really quickly because people are talking about themselves and saying, I've heard of that business, I've seen that sign. And
I know who you are.
Exactly. Things start to really move quickly, and it's really encouraging to see.
Excellent. Well, so you mentioned that the different types of businesses. Now, are there caps on who will be chosen? Are there criteria where they want to get a food business and they want a real estate person and they want an engineer, or they don't want two of those types? Like, is there some sort of criteria so that you're hoping that you're the only real estate firm that applies, because if too many of you apply, only one of you is getting in? Is there that kind of criteria?
They do. The diversification happens naturally. They will look at it. In New Hampshire, we have more people coming in, so we're starting to see different types of business. But the opportunities are such that no one would be turned away because there might be two different types. To be honest, I haven't really seen some competitors run into a problem. Everyone is very open and genuine in the process because they're sharing ideas and opportunities. But it's a good question.
Are there any types of businesses that aren't allowed? I know they have to be considered small businesses, and there's the criteria for that.
Sure.
Are there any businesses out there, again, for people learning about this, thinking they may want to do it and get excited? You don't want to then hear that, oh, your business is not allowed. Are there any types that aren't?
Interestingly, no.
Okay.
2 employees and $100,000 in revenue are the first two criteria. Okay. You have to have been in business for 2 years.
So 2 employees, 2 years, $100,000 in revenue.
Right.
Criteria. And in New Hampshire, to be in the New Hampshire program.
That's right, in the New Hampshire program. If you live out of state, if you lived over the border and you operate in New Hampshire, that would be okay as well.
All right.
And it's probably worth noting that we also include, I had to work for this a little bit, we include nonprofits in this as well.
Okay.
So if they wanted to get into donations and work plans to try to get their branding out there, to get the awareness for their cause or for their business opportunities, certainly nonprofits are eligible to apply as well.
I did not know that, so I learned something new today too. But that's wonderful that, because again, nonprofits in New Hampshire are a huge segment of the workforce and what happens in the state. So that's excellent that they can be included. So.
Yeah, we have our first real nonprofit coming into the cohort in the fall. Okay. She has to go through the interview process, but she's was a terrific cursory interview. We've talked a lot, and she's really interested in getting her brand out there. So wonderful. We're looking forward to that.
Can you tell me some of the businesses that are alumni that maybe some of the viewers watching at home would recognize, or that the greater Concord Chamber community would know, oh, that business, in case they have questions about the program, but also to know the types of businesses that have gone through the program? Because even though you said, everybody's welcome and we've had 63 alum.
That's right.
It's always good when you hear someone because then it makes it real. Yes.
I can go through some names and some businesses. Katie Ward from Aries Engineering up here in Concord. Tutu Marsden from Delead Weddings and Events.
Chichester, yeah.
That's right. Let's see, Cindy Eichling from Home Instead. Healthcare, taking care of our senior citizens, allowing them to be more comfortable at home. Terrific business, and a real advocate for the program. So thank you, Cindy, if she gets to see this. Sulliway and Hollis, Chris Piles from that law firm. The NLS group, Adam Carey is there. Dylan Crewis from TF Moran is there as well. He's going to come through and comes to the events that we sponsor. I'm leaving some out. Suzanne Foley from Port City Pretzels you'll see Port City Pretzels around the grocery stores.
So even though she's out in Portsmouth, those pretzels are everywhere.
They are everywhere.
And they're delicious. So.
They are. And of course, looking out the window here at Gibson's Bookstore, yes. Michael Herman actually attended the national cohort as part of that process. But we have a really solid group of alumni that are real advocates for the program. And if people are interested and they'd like to speak to someone that they may have known have gone through the program, we can certainly set you up on a three-way call, and we can talk. Those are the best advocates for the program. They come, and we do panels at different events that we've sponsored over time, and they do a terrific job of showing how excited they are about what the program was about, what it did for them, and they're really willing to share that information.
Well, yeah, you and I talking about how great the program is one thing, but hearing it from a colleague that's in a small business that understands, payroll and dealing with inventory and state regulations and taxes and how they work through it and how the program helped them.
Right.
It means so much more than hearing it from us.
It does, so. And they do a fantastic job of making that happen. And if anyone would like to speak to an alumni, I could drop out. You can speak privately and ask questions, but whatever you think is the best way for you to gain more perspective about the program.
All right, well, or if you know the people that we just talked about, feel free to reach out to them directly, because now you know about them. So say you're a small business, you've been listening to this, you're so excited. I know you guys all at home are all excited. How long is this commitment again? Because again, everything sounds great, so you have to clear your schedule. How from start to finish of the first day of classes till graduation?
It's about a 13-week program. It might be 13 and a half weeks, so we can say 13 to 14 weeks. There are 10 face-to-face days. There's a day and a half of orientation. You go away for a few weeks, and then 4 days of face-to-face, and then you go away for a few more weeks, and then you have 4 final days. So it's about 3 months.
And it's not every week in person. You guys tried to block it off to make it as easy as possible for the business owners.
Right. The face-to-face, people do like it, even though it's you can see some pressure on people. The first couple of days, people feel a little more pressure because a lot of people haven't stepped away before. And like I said earlier, they do come up to me and say, "This is the best idea. This is the best thing I've ever done. I'm getting so much out of this already." And it's good to see, because some people come in with a little bit of a panic because they've stepped away. And again, it's time spent on your business, not away from your business. And there is time to break to meet and get back in touch with people if they need it, of course. Attendance is critical. They want 100% attendance is needed. But there is some offline or online, I should say, classes that happen in the evening. You would be meeting with your business advisor. Each scholar gets a business advisor as part of the growth group. It's an overall business advisor, but you can meet one-on-one with the business advisor as well. He does meet with as a group and providing you insight and input to how to take next steps. These are all qualified, well-vetted business advisors that really are an added feature of the program. After the program ends, there's a tremendous graduation that we had at NHTI.
Yes, we held it at NHTI, which rivals any high school or college graduation I've ever seen. It was amazing.
A band was hired.
There was a band. There was food.
The senators came, and along as well as executive level, including the CEO of Goldman Sachs came and spoke at the graduation. I believe he tries to do it at all of them. But it's a great way for people to include their families and be part of a larger process. That you didn't just it wasn't secluded. This is a coming together and a success.
Celebrating your business and celebrating that you took the time to grow your business,
right,
which is going to help your employees, help their families, and again, it's just a big cycle of
it's true.
Of celebration.
And after graduation, there's a survey that comes out at 6 months, 12 months, and 18 months, and they're trying to find out how you incorporated what you learned into your business and what was the impact. And we're seeing some positive results. Actually, some fantastic. I've been doing some of the qualifications, looking at some of the alumni surveys and validating them in the process as well. And the program also commits to 3 no-charge alumni clinics on topical subjects relating to what's happening in the current market environment. We had one scheduled for soft skills that's going to be postponed and moved out a little bit based on the current events. But there probably will be one on recovery. I know that they're actively working on things right now, providing recovery resources, and that's all coming in as part of the app where the alumni are logging into regularly to find out what's the latest and greatest information that they can find out to get the support that they need for their business.
So even though this is a really tough time for businesses, which we understand, hence the Facebook Live event, for those of you who are at your office or at home, this is a great opportunity to think about your business plan and your business model and how to strengthen your business. And this program, what you're telling me, not only gives you 13 weeks of, free classes and resources and peer groups and advisors, but it continues on.
It does.
Because you keep getting these free resources to help you help your business. So
right.
That's great. You don't usually hear of programs. Again, if you go to an MBA program in a college, that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get those resources, and it's going to cost you a lot of money. So
yeah.
And you're not going to be working on your business as part of the MBA program. This is a mini-MBA just about your business.
That's right. And we asked the business owners to apply. If someone has an executive group and they wanted someone else to attend, we like the owner to attend. But if there was someone that they needed to in their stead, things happen, right? Then having another member of the executive team has come into the class and participate at a high level. But again,
can that be just as a substitute, or can it be?
It would be the same person the whole way through. But
okay.
Typically, the owners are more intimate with the business, and they know more than someone on the E team. But if someone on the exec group wanted to attend, it certainly would be
Right, and it depends on the
that
size
we
of the
consider.
business.
Exactly.
The 3-person business, it should probably be the owner, but if you have 130 employees,
Right.
it may not need to be the owner, but be
Right.
somebody else.
So those surveys at 6, 12, and 18 months is the only thing they ask for back. Otherwise, it's all based on being in good standing as an alumni. I've asked people to attend events that we sponsored to come and speak. And we talked about it earlier. We should have had one here. We could have brought one in.
I know. If we weren't under these circumstances, I would have reached out to one of the alum. But
it's true. But it's a great way to stay connected. And I know that they do rely on each other socially. They'll often say it. I miss my group. I miss my team. And it's a great way to know that the program is working. Is those connections are holding, and people are still, even after we're coming up on a year later in May. It's hard to believe it's been another year has gone by, but they're looking forward to the 1 year later program, which is another feature of coming in and reunion, so to speak.
Oh, so you have class reunions? We'll call it that, but
exactly.
An event. So we do have a question from one of our audience members. So Emily.
So I'm Emily. I'm off screen right now. Emily at the Chamber. We have a question from Karen here, who applied last year and due to not having enough data wasn't chosen for last summer's cohort. It was recommended that she reapply this year, but the website didn't allow her to reapply. Can you give advice for people who are thinking of reapplying, or maybe advice on people who didn't get in, who would like to better meet that criteria and be considered this year?
Yeah, I'll take this one on personally, and thank you for persevering and reapplying, Karen. I'll give my phone number.
Sure.
And we'll leave it at that. So my phone number directly is 603-206-8187. And if you'd like to reach out by email, it's C, N as in Nancy, EILD as in David, at CC, S as in Sam, NH.edu. If you want to reach out by email, if you're more comfortable doing that. And I will reach out to our application and processing partner and understand where you are. If things have changed and if your data wasn't quite there because maybe revenues weren't quite there, we'll certainly take another look, and we'll give you all the consideration that you deserve. And please don't give up. If you do go to the website again, it's 10K sbapply.com/New Hampshire. New Hampshire is one word. You can learn about the program. You can even apply there as well, but you can get some background to get some further perspective on what the program is all about and how it can benefit you. Or if you know someone that you think could benefit from this type of education, again, at no cost. I appreciate you putting in a lot of people, I talk to people and they say free, they step back and go,
nothing's ever free. That's
what's the
they're
catch?
thinking, right?
The catch is staying in touch and providing some data that allows you to stay as an alumni in good standing. But Karen, don't give up and contact me, and I'll help you understand where you're at, and we'll take next steps together.
And I do thank you, Karen. I do know that on the Facebook post that the chamber did, there was the website. So for 10,000 small businesses. So that is wonderful. Please go and look at that website because there is more information. That is how you apply. But that was great to know. So if someone has applied in the past and they weren't chosen, or they pulled back for whatever reason, they can reapply.
Of course.
Okay, so that's good to know because I'm sure that not everyone gets accepted, which actually went perfectly to my next question, is how many businesses do get accepted for each cohort or each year that you do this or running of the program? Because I imagine it needs to be enough that you can have good discussion, but not so many that it's overwhelming.
That's right. It does vary. We had 37 alumni in the first cohort, and we had 26 in the second cohort. So we like to be somewhere between 35 and 45 are the ideal numbers. I'm of the mind that sometimes less is more. Because it gives people a chance to connect at a higher level. But that is not to say we wouldn't accept. We're really looking forward to the September cohort. It starts on September 10th. That's the first day of orientation, and it'll allow people to really meet a diverse group of businesses. We have about last look, we had about 22 people that have completed the application information and all the criteria. And they're interested in interviewing for the fall time frame. Interviews will be around June. We may extend the May 7th application deadline.
Well, that one actually was perfect. Can you explain the process? So we have Karen who wants to reapply. We have all these excited people watching on Facebook Live. What's the process? I mean, again, I'm thinking college and my master's application, and I never want to do that again, and most business people don't either. So what is the application process? What's the timing? What's the commitment for just even to apply?
Yep, the application process, believe it or not, only takes about 20 minutes.
Wow.
There's a couple of basic questions. If you have your financials for your business together, it can go pretty quickly. Some people are relying on other financial people to help them through their process of managing their financials in the business. So they have to wait and try to collect the information that they need. But I've had people fly through it. We could even meet, and you could even get on the phone with our processing partner and help you with the application over the phone if you needed to. There are a number of ways to do it. I've heard people say, I went through it, no problem. I've heard some people say, I wasn't quite sure on some of the financials and I need to get more information. I needed to talk to my accountant and things like that.
Can you start the online application, save it, and come back to it? Or is it one of those, okay, so it's not that you have to do it all at once or you lose all the data?
No, they'll save the information for you. Some of the addenda has to happen to be officially qualified. But we do try to help people through the process. We've sponsored events where we would processing applications right on the
Oh, that's excellent.
So there is room in this cohort. Interviews are going to be in the June, July timeframe. There could be some scope creep, and based on the current events, we may stretch it out a little bit. But again, the plan is to start in September. On September 10th and 11th is the first day and a half of orientation, and it runs right up to the week before Thanksgiving, so it's not going to impact your holidays.
So you apply online.
That's right.
And then does everyone get an interview, or do you get invited to the interviews?
You get invited to the interview.
Okay, so
it's based on your criteria.
Okay. So that's your
talking about growth is really an important part of the interview process, and understanding that this is someone who's committed to the time, committed to the opportunity, and is going to put themselves forward as a viable, qualified candidate to attend the program.
Okay, so it's basically like a job application. You apply
It
online, you get invited for the interview, you come to the interview, and then you get that email or phone call saying, we want you.
That's right.
Excellent. Okay. And so deadline to apply online is?
Right now it's May 7th, but I'm looking for guidance. It may slide out a little bit because we're in unusual times.
Right. Okay. So if nothing changes, May 7th,
that's right.
Interviews would happen in June and July with the start date of September 10th.
That's right.
So, okay. And I'm already answering my own questions. So you talked about having in-person classes. And again, where do the classes take place? What about people from the North Country and traveling? And can you talk about that?
Right, sure. So the classes are all delivered at Manchester Community College. We're going to be having a different location than we had the past two cohorts. There's some natural lighting and plenty of room. Again, the meals are all delivered. There's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. For folks that have a 2-hour commute or more,
2-hour one way or?
One way.
Okay.
One way. But we can make exceptions as well. But they can. We do provide a hotel. It's in Manchester. It's a quality place. I believe it's going to be the Holiday Inn Express right by the New Hampshire this year. And those are, if you come in the night before, we don't want you driving 2 hours and then have to be in class for 8 a.m. and leaving early. So you could come the night before, stay, get well rested. Some people have families and they can't attend the hotel. We do recommend highly the hotel stay because it does allow for collaboration and for scholars to work together on assignments and also just to get to know each other and share their ideas and their experiences. But so the hotel again is covered as part of the program. Incidentals, you're on your own there, but they do cover the room itself. And it's not required. Sometime in the 4-day face-to-face sessions, we've had people that come for the last 2 days because they prefer it. They said that is the way to go. I've heard that a number of times, that the hotel is really important part of their experience. And
well, it does save them time from the commuting.
You
have all these great ideas. I mean, I know it's not the same as a conference, but I know when I've gone to conferences, I have all these wonderful ideas. By the time I get back to it, the ideas have gone. If I just could go to a hotel room and write everything down and put it all in paper for an hour right after that session,
yes,
it would be great.
Yeah,
so.
And that's what typically happens. And some people stay the whole time, and some people again have small family or commitment that have children or a commitment. They have to stay at home if that's what they prefer. One thing of note, and it may be a concern for people, is dietary restrictions. So all dietary restrictions are covered, whether it's gluten-free, vegan, or vegetarian. Those accommodations can be made. We're reasonably accommodating. We haven't had any real complaints, but we can be accommodating in terms of dietary restrictions, so people don't have to worry about that. So.
And of course, everything's ADA accessible, so no one has to worry about any of that.
Exactly. There's a form to fill out where we'll be reasonably accommodating there as well. Whatever it takes to make you comfortable, focused on your learning, is what we're all about.
And I believe we have another question from
I have another question here from Karen again.
Excellent, Karen.
She's got some great questions. She's wondering if you have dates yet for 2020, especially for businesses who want to plan ahead right now and make sure they can attend.
There's one cohort scheduled for the fall. It starts on September 10th and runs to the week before Thanksgiving. That'll be the last one in 2020, and then we'll look to 2021. It'll probably be a March timeframe.
And can you go online somewhere and see when those in-person dates are scheduled?
I believe the schedule was put up on the New Hampshire, so it's 10kSB.apply.com/New Hampshire. Again, New Hampshire is one word. You don't have to capitalize anything on New Hampshire. The schedule should be there, and if it's not, I can send it to you as soon as I.
You're gonna have to check when you're out of here and see if the schedule's up. I'm pretty sure it is.
It is. We put it up because it had to change, and we modified it slightly. And I know it's been corrected because I think I'm the one that put the action item out there. Because for the owner of the website, the webmaster had to correct it. So.
I have a question from me, actually.
Okay.
Can you give an overview of some of the topics that are covered? What can businesses expect to learn here specifically? Do you cover? I just be curious in an overview. Is there marketing? Is there advice on financials and managing employees? What can people hope to gain from?
Sure. So simply stated, but I'll go into a little more detail. It covers everything that you would get in a traditional MBA level program. We start with money and metrics, and then we start to roll into operations and evaluation, marketing and selling. And these may be things that you may feel you're an expert marketer. So you might not have to listen quite so tightly because you have your plan. You might pick up a few things along the way.
There's always something new
to learn. It's true. But there's There's modules on leadership. There's modules on business valuation. Some of all your ideas that you have, they may not be turned into a product, but you test those things out along the way. But interestingly, the classes become part of a progression of adding practical business skills into your business. And again, it starts with money and metrics. We've had people that hadn't been in class in 10, 15 years and say, how am I going to go back to school? They started their business when they were very young, and now they've grown into to a point, and maybe they didn't take the traditional route. They didn't go to college. They took a couple of classes, but it wasn't for them. This is a chance to really solidify your business knowledge. You maybe have already learned on the run as you perform in your day-to-day business. But this is a way to learn from that. So it does have a list of topics, but in the meantime, you're also working on your growth plan, your business plan, which is a 5-year business plan, which starts from the beginning, and you start to work that all the way through. You do a quick 5-minute pitch at the end to show your ideas and what your business plan is all about, and everybody is really excited by the end because they have a plan in place to take those next steps.
So like a traditional MBA, you have a kind of a capstone project.
You have to defend it a little bit.
And again, instead of the project being some theoretical idea, it's a 5-year business growth plan for your own business.
That's right.
And you present it to the entire class,
and
all the professors or the teachers.
Some of them, and the business advisors are there as well. And the good thing
about Shark
it,
Tank, where someone then invests all their money in it.
We've seen a little activity, but it's interesting to watch how it all progresses. But you don't have to do it all at once. You're working on it constantly. You get to practice it several times and that's going. I know people worked at it at the hotel the other night before. That was an exciting time because they really got to share feedback, and that took it to another level. It is funny. There were people that were quite anxious about getting up in front of the class, and some of the ones that were the most anxious, or the ones that were just really afraid to deliver, had some of the better pitches in the program. But they're all excellent. I know it's been a real, it's 13 weeks and it goes by really quickly, and you really get to see people grow in a short period of time. And they're equipped, they're ready to get out there and start putting these things into practice. And it does change people. And I've seen the change. I was a bit skeptical, and now I'm an advocate because I've seen the changes in people and how it all comes together in just a short period of time. The information is practical and allows you to take those steps at an accelerated rate. And they're bringing back information back to their companies, and they're indoctrinating them, and this is how we're going to do it. And they come back and they say they're just moving with it. They like the direction. They like the feeling that they're in control and that there's a plan. Because they've been trying to do this business plan for some time, and now this is a formalized business plan that they can take to the next level. It really does, it shows up.
All right, so we have the website, 10KSB. Apply, there it is.
.com
/New Hampshire.
Right.
So again, there's a whole website with information out there for people. I'm sure if you just Google it, you'll find it. The deadlines for submittal are there. We have covered a lot of ground. What else haven't we talked about? Is there any information that we can think of in these last 6 minutes?
I know. We did
pretty
well. We were worried about filling the hour.
I know.
So these are unprecedented times.
Yes.
We're preparing for any and all eventualities. If this coursework has to go to completely online, we see the benefit of face-to-face work and people meeting and greeting. Then it will be so. They're already taking classes that are in place right now. Cohorts that are happening right now are already being transitioned over to completely online deliveries. So it will happen. But it's we don't know what the future holds. But I do know who holds the future, and that's these small businesses that apply to this program. They are the strength of backbone of East New Hampshire economy. We have not only just high tech and other businesses, we're also a place to visit vacation-wise. And the hospitality businesses and businesses where all these things take place have a unique place in the way we deliver the program. So we've seen that we had a whitewater rafting business, Bobby Parashand up in Franklin. He's reinvigorating that whole location.
Area is up there.
And it's the only whitewater rafting place in north of Boston that you can get there quickly and have a great event with teams, corporate events, or just families on their own. But that's again the diversity of the entire program is that we have just different people connecting at different levels. I've seen exchanges happen with someone who was not a technical person, and she gave technical business feedback, and he said, she goes, I don't understand it because I'm not in it. And he said, you're right. He goes, once I heard it out loud, I could write it and I could read it and go, yeah, this is good. But when I said it out loud, I'm looking at people and they're not picking up on it at all. He took the advice and reworded things and changed it around, and it really made a difference. And those are the things that had an impact on me, things that I saw. But this is we market this program really hard, but it's the best kept secret in New Hampshire, I think, at this time, because it really does become a game changer for these businesses who want to grow and create jobs. And if we've had people come in that we had a woman that came in, she said, I want to sell my business. I am ready to move on. I'm going to retire. And by the end of the program, she was transitioning her business to her daughter. And that was a neat experience. We've had businesses come in where they want to transfer ownership to the employees. Everybody's motivated differently. Some people want to grow and just kill it.
Right. And sitting on the interviews the last few times, which has been great for me because sometimes it was kind of like, fangirl here because it was businesses I knew. And I was like, oh, I know what your business is and let me talk to you. Right. And other times I was like, oh, I know you guys. It would never have occurred to me that they would be thinking they needed it. Yes. And so it was great to see the diversity. It was great to see people's passions. Right. And then seeing some of them at the graduation and talking to them about how they have a totally different plan for their business. It was a way they hadn't really considered growing in. And it was just wonderful to see how those businesses and those employers changed their process. And even with everything going on right now, trying to look at the silver lining of opportunity. Right. All of a sudden, we're all working from home. We're having to shift our business models. We're having to shift how we work with employees or manage employees. This might be that time where we say, how can we change how we're running our business? So not closing the business, ending the business, or going back to status quo, but can there be a way that we can change it and maybe do both? And this is that great opportunity to take the time to strengthen the business so that it can continue regardless of whether we're in person or virtually shopping at the store or providing engineering services or things like that. So,
I think this is going to be a huge factor in recovery.
Yes.
Because we're going to be there. And it should be noted, too, that the testament to the people in the program won a Best of New Hampshire Bob Award from the New Hampshire Business Review for the best business plan. It is good. It's again, it had nothing to do. Really bring it to the party. They are the party. It's the alumni and the small business owners who participated in the program that made that happen. And we're proud of that.
Excellent. I think we have less than a minute left. So I do want to thank Goldman Sachs, 10,000 Small Businesses. I want to thank you, Tuck, for coming out, and Manchester Community College, the Community College System of New Hampshire, the Greater Concord Chamber of Commerce, all of you watching at home or from your office. And stay safe and enjoy your business.